Testing, testing, one, two. We're back. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. How are you doing today? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. A round of applause, a round of applause. I am so sorry for the delay. I am so sorry for the distractions, but there's been interventions, so that is why we are here today again. I am so happy to be back, to be talking to you guys. I'm so happy that I have the chance to chat with you guys. Maybe you guys are driving, maybe you guys are at home, maybe you guys are working right now, taking your lunch break. I don't know, but I am so thankful that you have allowed me to be part of your day, to be part of your life, and I just can't wait for what we're going to talk about today. So, without further ado, my name is Ava Salas, and this is your amazing, wonderful, inspiring, I don't even know what else to say, podcast, the Shine Your Light podcast. Let's get to it. So what can I say? There have been a couple of things, events, and stuff going on in life, but it's been a few busy days. Summer started, summer is gone, and I literally can't believe it. So after I came back from Arizona, I got back into the whole routine with work, with church, and at church we were so busy. I literally had something every single day. The month of July especially was so packed. We had an event, we had fasting, we had evangelism, we had a little bit of everything, but it was so fun. So fun. And then with work, I was just trying to get back into the grind, and I have been trying to do things a little bit different and trying to see how I thread everything together. But yeah, here we are. I literally can't believe that summer is gone. I posted not too long ago, how I was smiling on the outside, but I'm super sad on the inside, because if you know me, you know that I always say that I thrive in the summer. Summer is like my prime time. It can be 105 degrees outside. You will see me outside. You will see me under the sun, toasting, burning, but that makes me happy. So I'm glad that I did enjoy it though. I feel like I had never gone to the beach as much as I did this summer, but it was amazing. I think in the month of I think it was in the month of May, I went to the beach every single day for 2 weeks. In June, I spent about 2 weeks in Arizona, but we still went to the lake over there. And then as soon as I came back, I was like, no, I need the beach. I need water. So I spent a couple of days at the beach too, and then the pool. And I try to go every chance that I get, I take it, because I love it. I love the sand, and I don't know. I guess it's a new era for me, but it's okay. So yeah, there's been behind the scenes, there's been a couple things going on, but honestly, I can't complain. I just can't complain with everything going on, because I know that God is working, and all I have to do is keep trusting him. Sometimes you go into those seasons that you have no idea where you're going, what you're doing, and if you're even doing things right. But in those seasons, in those moments, it's when your faith is being tested. So the other day I was talking about how a faith that has not been tested cannot be trusted. And it was like God was literally talking to me through me. And I was like, wow, God, you really know what to do. Because honestly, we can profess to say that we have faith. We can profess to say, yeah, I have faith that God will do it. But until you have no other choice, until you have no resources, until you have no way out of it, and you know that God is the only one that can do it, you can actually say that I believe God can do it. You can actually say that my faith has been tested. You can actually say, yeah, that was all God. Because it's so easy to say, yeah, I have faith in God, but Do we let go? Do we let God control? So honestly, this summer I have been, you know how people say I am running on coffee, I am running on Dunkin', I'm running on Red Bull, whatever it is. Yeah, I've been running on faith, completely and solely on faith, believing that God is in control, believing that He knows what He is doing in my life. And you know, it's funny because this summer I have been getting one question, and I never thought that I would have to answer this question, but so many people have been asking me the same question, and I'm like, is that really how people perceive me? Is that how people see me? But the question is, how are you always so happy? What do you do to always be so happy? And I'm just like, if only you knew. If only you knew. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out an answer to this question, but when I was answering these people, I just said, you know, life is hard, so why make it harder? I always say that if I take care of God's business, God will take care of my business. If I take care of God's affairs, He will take care of my affairs. So even if life is at my hardest at the moment, if life is at the worst, if life is hitting me so hard, I know that it's all part of a bigger plan. It's something that I have instilled in myself, in my brain, in my mind. It's something that I have lived by for a while, and it's something that I know and I'm sure of. So even if I am living through my worst moments, you're probably not going to notice that. You're most likely not going to notice that. Why? Because I'm always going to have a smile on my face. I'm always going to show the positive, because aside from what I am living, I know that I have a job, and that is to be an ambassador of God. So wherever I go, it's not about me anymore. It's about God. It's not about what I'm going through. It's about God. So if my job as an ambassador of God is to preach, it's to speak and show and share God's love, that's what I need to do at every moment. So if I see someone, I'm not going to go and be negative and a pessimist and be like, yeah, I'm going through such hard moments at the moment, at this time. I'm going through the worst. I am sad. I'm depressed. I am anxious. I am this. I'm that. No, because that's not who I am. My identity comes from God. So what I am going to do is tell you, yeah, God is great. God is wonderful. He still does miracles. He is still working. He is still doing things, because whatever you declare, whatever you profess, that is what's going to happen. This little member of our body, the tongue, it is powerful. Let me tell you that. So if you are always speaking negative, I'm sorry, but that's what you're going to have in your life. That is what is going to happen most in your life. But if you are preaching God's word, God's love, God's miracles, God's victories, God's greatness, God's wonderful, amazing things, that is what's going to happen in your life. So how am I always so happy? I'm not always so happy. That's the simple answer. But if you ask me on a deeper level, how am I always so happy? Because I know that God is in control. So I know that it's not the end. And I may reach the last second of the deadline, of the timeline. This is hour 0. I know that there's more to come. So be careful who you hang out with, because that has a lot to do. You know that saying out there that says, you are who you hang out with? Por ejemplo, en español más fácil, se lo dicen, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. So tell me who you're hanging out with, and I'll tell you who you are. And I know that our parents, if you're Hispanic especially, es que los papás siempre nos dicen eso. Ven un amigo de mías de allá y dicen, ese no es, ese amigo no, ese no es amigo, aléjate de ese. And that's how parents are, you know. They can see someone from miles away and they're like, something's not smelling right. That person is not your friend. That person is not it. So start saying goodbye. But it's true. If you are hanging out with negative people, you're probably going to become a negative person. But if you're hanging out with positive people, with people who are God-fearing, with people who are always in God's word, you are going to become a man or a woman of God. What do I want to talk to you guys about? Friendships. Today we're going to talk a little bit about friendships, how important they are in our lives, what the Bible says about them, and also something very important that I really want to focus on this part, especially how there's different friendships for different seasons, and there's different friendships for different reasons. What does that mean? Well, let's get into it. I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about friendships, how sometimes it's hard to make friends, and how as you grow older, it seems like things just get harder. Because if you're a kid, you guys are all like in a little bubble, you know, you guys are all doing the same things, the same routines. But as you grow older, you see that people start having different beliefs, different working fields, different states, different countries, different lifestyles. So you start to drift apart. And that's the hardest thing as you get old, because, or as you grow older, not get old, don't get offended. But as you grow older, you realize that the friendships that you've had since you were like 5 years old today don't really mean anything. Why? Because we drifted apart, because we went different ways. So I may have people that I knew when I was 5 years old, and we used to go to church together. We used to do things together. We used to serve in ministry together. But as we got older, we started going our separate paths. And today, they're probably not even serving God, and I am. They're probably focused on their, I don't know, families or business or something of the sort. So today, they're in different paths, and we are not aligned. And maybe we're not even friends anymore. So it's hard to make friendships as you grow older, because there's so many factors that you have to take into consideration. As Christians, it's not all about just personality, or if they're fun, if they're cool, if they bring the best out of you. It's more of a spiritual aspect. You have to take into consideration, are they people who are getting you closer to God, or are they people who are, unfortunately, pushing you away from God? And that's hard, but that's the truth. How many times do we have really good friends, really good people, and we're like, but God, that person isn't hurting me. But God, this person isn't doing anything bad for me. But we know deep down that they are not adding to our life, that they are not adding to our potential, our purpose. Because remember that each one of us was born with a purpose. So one way or another, that purpose will fulfill. So we may know people that are beautiful, kind, and amazing. But because they don't serve God the same way that you do, there's little details that won't always align. There's little details that will always not mix. You know, you're going to be water, they're going to be oil. You can't mix. As much as you want to be with them and hang around and I don't know, maybe build a future together, it won't work. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." So why are friendships important? Why do we need friendships? Does the Bible even talk about friendships? Does Jesus talk about friendships? Yes, yes, yes. So if you notice, Jesus had friends. Who were his friends? And what did these friends do for him, for other people, and what role did they play in his life? And we know about one friend that was very dear, especially to Jesus, Lazarus. That is the time that we see that Jesus wept when Lazarus died. So friendships are so important in our life because they build us, they create us, they sharpen us, they sharpen our personality, our character, who we are. And good friendships are those that tell us the things that we need to hear when we don't want to hear them. something I always say is that a true friend is not the one who's going to sweeten your ear and tell you, yes, you look good, you're doing great, you're doing amazing, when you even know that you're not doing good. But a true friend is that one who will be there and push you to do the things that you don't want to do but are right for you. A true friend is the one who will stop you from doing things that are not good for you. So, fellowship. Fellowship is something as well that is so important. Nowadays, a lot of people have gotten used to being at home and spending time at home and seeing church through a TV, through a streaming service. And yes, that's good because you're worshiping, you're hearing God's word, but it's not the same thing. The Bible tells us that we need to congregate. Why? Because this is where your faith is going to strengthen. Sometimes we may read a verse in the Bible and we won't understand it, or we might see a different perspective. But when we all come together and we all read the Bible together and we all worship and praise, there is no other moment like that. The presence of God descends. You see the Bible in a whole nother perspective. Your faith strengthens because you heard a testimony. Your faith strengthens because you saw what God did to that person and with that person, and you know that God can do it with you as well. But these things don't come if you're alone in isolation, or if you're alone in a room just you seeing a screen, or pretending that you have a community when you don't. Community is so essential. I was talking the other day on my TikTok live, and I was mentioning how personally I have always been a reserved person. I have never been one to confess my feelings or express my feelings or express my thoughts or anything like that. I'm always one to always help. I'm always helping. I'm always giving advice. I'm always that person that people go to when they need help or advice or any kind of guidance. But when it comes to myself and my situations and my circumstances and my problems, I've never been the person to really talk to friends about it, or mentors or people. Why? Because I've always had this thought in my mind that said, how are they going to help me? What are they going to do? They're literally just going to hear my problems, know about my problems, and not do anything about it. So why should I even bother? It's not like they're going to understand what I'm actually going through. But as I grow older and as I mature, I realize how important community is. Because the thing is that we can't do things alone. We can't do things alone. And I was giving a Bible study at my church the other day. And funny enough, the chapter that pertained to the lesson that I was supposed to give was talking about community, fellowship, and how we need to rely on each other, that we can't fight these battles alone. And it talked about this pastor who had been going through some situations in his ministry, and he was having these thoughts, but he didn't seek help. His problem was that he said, I can do this on my own. I don't need to talk to anyone. I don't need to seek help because I can manage it. And that is where the problem lies, because you cannot depend on your own understanding. You cannot depend on your own thought. You know, a lot of people are going to tell you, just follow your heart. But what does the Bible say? The Bible says that the heart is deceitful. So community is so important, because that is who you go to when you're in need of a prayer, when you're in need of advice and mentorship. Mentorship is something that is so important as well. So this pastor said, no, I can do it on my own. I don't need to talk to anyone. And that is where his problem started, because those thoughts started marinating in his mind, and those thoughts became actions, and the actions were bad, and then he had circumstances that weren't very nice per se. But when he finally reached the moment that he actually talked it out, it was too late. And he had a mentor, and his mentor told him, why didn't you come to me when these thoughts were just thoughts, when these things were roaming in your head, when you were in that dark room with nothing or no one else. And all he said was, well, my mistake was that I thought I could do it on my own. I thought that I could fight this battle alone. So this is a reminder that God put certain people in our life for a reason. Which brings me to the second topic, which is something that I really want to get across to you. That there will be different friendships that come into your life in different seasons. Maybe you were really close friends with someone when you were a teenager. Maybe you were really close with someone when you were a young adult. Or maybe now that you're going into a different season, maybe motherhood, maybe you're in a working field, you're a professional, different seasons. And the thing is that God always puts the right person in our path who will help us achieve something in our life. Because God's plan is greater than ours. And remember, he's been in our yesterday, he's in our today, and he will be in our tomorrow. What am I saying with this? That maybe a friendship that was really tight, that was something beautiful in the past, is not a friendship today. That's okay. Doesn't mean that it's over, and it doesn't mean that it was never meant to happen either. For example, I created some beautiful friendships when I was in high school, and even throughout college, we still talked, we still hung out, we still talked to each other and gave each other advice. But as we grew older, we started doing our own things, and it's not that we just weren't friends anymore. It's things that happen in our lives that lead us to drift away. So I have some friends. Today that I made when I was in high school. And today, although we don't talk as often, and although we are not so close anymore, I know that I can still count on them. I know that I can still depend on them. I know that if I call them, they will answer, and they will pray for me, and they will give me advice, and they will be there for me. But different people will come in different seasons. Maybe their season was in high school. Their season was as in college as a young adult. But now you're going into a different season, and you need different people in your life. You need people who are going to be doing the same things as you, so they can help you become better, become a better person, become a better father, become a better mother, become a better sister, daughter, a better professional, whatever it is that you're doing. You need different people for this season. The people that helped you in the past cannot help you today. The people that helped you in high school cannot help you today. They can be there cheering you on from afar, but God is putting different people in your life today so they can help you with your today, with that person that you're becoming today. God is putting people in your ministry. God is putting people in your professional field so they can help you grow as that person. So if they are not talking to you anymore, if your friendships from the past are not talking to you anymore, it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means that they were for a specific season. Now, there's also different friendships for different reasons. What do I mean by this? So I have several friends. I am not one to really have a lot of friends. I always say this. I have acquaintances, but I don't have a lot of friends. The other day, I had someone ask me, Ava, do you have friends? Do you go out? And I'm like, here's the thing. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I don't have a lot of friends. But the few friends that I do have serve a different purpose in my life, serve a different reason, serve a different role in my life. What do I mean by this? I have friends in my life that serve solely as accountability partners. They are there to remind me of things that I need to be reminded of because I may get distracted with everything going on in life. I have friends who are there to give me advice on certain topics. I have friends who serve as therapists, let's say. I have friends who motivate me and know everything that has been happening in my life and know what to say when I ask them for advice. Then I have friends who are there to just make my day. You know, you need friends who will make your day every so often, who will entertain you, who will be there to cheer you up whenever you're down. But there's also friends who will help you in a specific area of your life, let's say ministry. So there's some friends that come in your life and serve double purposes as well, because they may help you on a friendship level and help you grow and want the best for you, but they will also serve to grow a specific part of you. I have some friends who help me grow in my ministry. They are always telling me, hey, look, I loved what you did here and you should keep doing that. And that was such a good idea, but you should try doing this. Have you ever thought about doing this? And that's how the conversations go. Then obviously I have friendships that serve my working field, my professional field, my business. So I have friends that are in my life now in this season, serving as people who push me to get my business up, to help me with clients or help me with content creation. And they know things that I don't. They've been in the field longer than I have. And I would have never had this field or be working in this field the way that I am today if it wasn't for them. And there's also friendships that serve as mentorship as well, because not always your friends are going to be the same age as you. Sometimes they're going to be younger than you. Sometimes they're going to be older than you. But I have friends who are older than me, and I see as role models. I see as mentors. I see as people who have taken time of their life to pour into my life. I mean, they didn't have to. They didn't need to. No one told them or forced them to, but they decided to do that. And I'm so thankful that God placed them in my life right now for this specific reason, because I know that without them, I would not be doing the things that I am doing today. But they are serving as roles, as role models. They are serving as mentors for me. So there's different kind of friendships that will serve different purposes. Now, your part, your homework, your job is to figure out what people are serving what roles in your life. Because it's good to have friends, but even Jesus had a limited amount of friends. If you notice, Jesus always was close to several people. He was always closer to several people. Correction. He was always closer to several people. He was always amongst the multitudes and amongst the crowds. But if you notice, if you see his story, he was closer to certain people. So you need to be smart enough to choose those people in your life, those people who are going to serve specific areas in your life. And you need to pray to God. God, I need someone who will help me in this area. God, I need someone who will help me in my ministry. I need someone who will help me and be my mentors, someone who will give me advice, someone who will serve this specific role. There's friends that come into your life, like I said, to give you advice, but not everyone will give you good advice. So you can't just go and tell everyone your problems. You can't just go out there and tell everyone your life, your situations. You got to be smart enough to know who you're going to tell specific things about your life, because those people are the ones who will give you specific advice for that situation. So that is something that I would tell you to do. Pray to God that he gives you the right people to serve the right roles in your life and to serve you in the right seasons. Now, this brings me to another point, that you need to be smart enough as well to know what people you will bring on into a different season of your life. Some time ago, it was at the end of the year, and I was talking about how when we go into a new year, we always talk about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to leave this behind, I'm going to leave this behind. We always talk about routines, we always talk about traditions, we always talk about things that we do that we're going to leave behind. But something we don't always talk about is people. And this has nothing to do with, being toxic or, there's toxic people. No, none of that. But it's true. And it's a reality that we need to accept. Not everyone is going to come along with us to a new season. If we see the story of the people of God, the people of Israel, when they were going into the promised land, you saw that they could have easily went into the promised land way faster than what it took them. But what God was doing was removing the old generation, removing people. So only certain few selected people would go into the promised land. You have to be smart enough to know who can join you into different seasons of your life. You have to be selective of the friendships that will join you into different seasons of your life. You have to be selective of the people who will pour into you, add to your life, add to your promise, add to your purpose, and serve something beneficial to your life, because not everyone will bring positive blessings into your life. Not everyone will be there to cheer you on. Not everyone will be there to add into your life. There's moments in our life where we have to really focus and know what we want, know what we're doing, and we don't need distractions. We don't need people who will hold us back, people who will keep us in the same routine every day, keep us in the same things. No. You need people who will refresh your mind, who will bring you new ideas, who will sum up the best of you to add to your life. So that's something else. Maybe you're going into a new season now. We're all going into a new season now, actually. Summer is going away and fall is coming. You have to be selective of the people that you're going to bring along. You have to pray to God and ask him, God, really show me those people who are adding to my life. Show me who you brought into my life with a purpose. And please, I pray, if there is someone holding me back from my blessings, from my purpose, please remove them from my life. I know when it comes to dating and we meet someone, we always do that special prayer, and it's that very hard prayer. And we say, God, if he's not the one, God, if she's not the one, please remove. We have to do that same prayer when it comes to friendships. We have to say, God, if this friendship is not adding to my life, please do something about it. Please dissolve it. Please eliminate it. Please make them go away. Because we need people who will push us closer to God. We need kingdom friendships. We need kingdom minds. We need kingdom people who will make us grow in his word. Grow as a person. Grow your potential. Grow in every area of your life. So there's different friendships for different seasons. There's different friendships for different reasons. But you have to be selective of the friendships that you bring along to the new seasons that you are living in your life. So there's so much more that we could talk about when it comes to friendships. But don't be afraid to make friends either. Don't be afraid to go out there and make new friendships. Making new friendships is gold. It's valuable. It's beautiful, because God puts people in our life for moments that we don't even expect. And you may say, wow, that is so crazy that this person came into my life at this moment when I needed them most. That was no coincidence. That was not something that just happened out of the blue. That was God putting that person in your life for that specific moment. So go out there and try to make new friends. Go out there and join clubs, or go out there to church meetings, to young adults nights, or to youth nights, or to women's retreats, men's retreats. Go out there and look for these friendships that God has for you. God is preparing people to enter your life, and you might not even be aware of it. The same way that God prepares, let's say, your future spouse, God prepares people to be your future best friends, your future mentors, your future friendships that will be there and will last, and not only serve as friends to you, but their children will also serve as friends to your children. So friendship is a beautiful thing, and it's something that we all need. So I really wanted to talk to you guys about this, because I think that's something that we all deal with. And I had been talking to a lot of people, and this subject keeps on coming up. And I know there's other sides to friendships, because sometimes we may expect certain people to stay longer than they do, but we have to accept the fact that not everyone is meant to be in our lives for longer than they should have. So, personally, I have dealt with certain friendships that ended up not being the best, and in a certain way they abruptly ended, and they did hurt in the moment. I mean, you get hurt. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I'm like, you know what? Making friends is hard, but making friends in ministry is even harder. Making friends as the pastor's kid is even harder. Why? Because you don't know if someone is actually genuinely being your friend because of who you are, or they're just being your friend because you're the pastor's kids. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, but making friends is a beautiful thing. And just be grateful that God puts certain people in your life, because they always teach you something. Even if they don't last forever, those friendships, those people, they teach you something. They make you grow. They make you understand things that you would have never understood. So that is all I'm gonna say today. But I am so thankful that you joined me today and that we had this conversation. Go out there and make friends. That is your homework for today and for the rest of the year. Go out there and make friends, and really pray that God puts the specific and right people in your season, in your life, in your path, so they can help you grow, and so you can also help them grow. Because it's not all about receiving, it's also about giving. You have to give. You have to give advice. You have to give love. You have to give support. So let that marinate in your mind. But before we go, I really want to pray. I want to pray for you. I want to pray for your life. I want to pray for your friendships right now. I don't know if this is maybe something that you've been dealing with. Friendships, getting hurt by a friend, getting hurt by someone who used to be a friend, or you're looking for new friends. So let me pray for you. Let's all pray together. And I really hope that this is something that blesses your life. Dear Father, I come before you today, and I just want to present to you whoever is on the other side of this screen of this podcast. I pray that you bless their life just as you have up to now. God, I know that you put specific people in their life for a specific season and for a specific reason. Jesus, I pray today that you put the right people in their path, and that the people who you put may help them grow, God, and become closer to you every day as well. I know that what you're doing in their life at the moment is great, and I know that your plans are greater for them as well. Thank you for this moment that you've allowed us to come here together and talk about your word and talk about things that will benefit our lives, Lord. I pray that you bless them for the rest of the week. Amen. Thank you so much for joining today. I am so happy that we got to do this again. I hope that we can do this more often. I'm just kidding. I will be here more often, I promise. As we speak, I am already preparing the other podcasts to come. But like I mentioned before, this is for you guys. This is something that we share together. So if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, please just let me know. DM me, or whenever I post in my stories on Instagram, just let me know what you guys want to talk about, and we will talk about it here. I have so many other topics that I have planned out, and I'm super excited, and people that I'm going to be bringing on here as well. Like I said at the beginning, I want this to be a podcast where we talk about spiritual we talk about things that build our spiritual life, but also things that we can use in our secular lives as well. If you're a business entrepreneur, if you are a college student, if you are in ministry, all of that. I have people who will come here, like I said, and serve different roles. So thank you so much for joining today. I hope that you have an amazing weekend. I will see you next week. Like I said before, we're still trying to see if we're going to put these out Monday, Tuesdays, or Fridays, but I will keep you guys posted. Remember to follow me on social media. Share this podcast with anyone you think may be needing to hear this, and share it with your friends, with your family members. I am so happy that you were here. Thank you. I love all of you guys. So My name is Ava Salas, and this is the Shine Your Light podcast. Bye, guys.